What's up, guys? How are you guys doing? In this video, I want to go over the season 3 buffs that we just got. Okay, this thing came out a while ago. Today, I missed it, but now we're gonna do a video on it. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this. And it says, yeah, as you can see, the developer note: Galactic Disaster Season 3 balance adjustment, right? And I kind of skimmed through this, and there are some pretty good buffs. I'm not gonna lie, especially Reen. Yeah, Reen gonna be absolutely disgusting this patch. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so the first one is Nia. So Nia is pretty much they're increasing her elasticity count right here. Okay, so on her potential amp therapy. Before it used one elasticity, but now it's two elasticity right here. Right here, more elasticity on here, but they didn't change anything as well. Yeah, 4 elasticity here as well, and then you got 2 elasticity here. And then this the cost on this card right here, the Adagio Epiphany 3, which lets you draw 1 and 1 decision equal to the card cost. This got 1 and heal 100% equal to the card's cost, right? The cost amount on this thing went down to 0, which is freaking amazing, right? And yeah, just very simple buffs for Nia. Now let's talk about Ri. So Ri, they pretty much didn't do much with her, but they mainly just gave her a damage based recovery, right? A bunch of them, right? So right here, on her ego skill right here, Final Shadow, you get 50% defense-based damage, right? I mean damage-based recovery. You still gonna get the AP right here as well. Another one, right? On her Final Shadow ego manifestation version right here, you get a 50% damage-based recovery as well. You got a 20% damage-based recovery on her Strike of Darkness unique Epiphany 2, which is interesting. You get 40% damage amount to one cost card at the end of the turn, heal 60%, right? This is freaking amazing, right? So on top of the 40 damage she already had, they added the heal like percentage on this, which is really nice, right? And another one, right? At the end of the turn, heal 90%. There's another one that also heals you right here, right on her. Like, so Resonant Darkness, Unique Epiphany 1 and 2, they both got the 90% heal at the end of the turn, which is amazing right here. We got Resonating Darkness right here. Everything is the same except this right here. They added the 90% heal amount to this as well, which is on the Epiphany 3 right here. Another one right here. At the end of the turn, heal 90%, right? On top of the damage amount to one cost or lower cards, right? Very good. So yeah, they pretty much buffing the Resonance Darkness and her State of Darkness skill, and also her ego manifestation, right? Which is pretty nice. And here they added 100% heal, which is actually pretty good as well, right? So yeah, she's gonna be doing a lot of healing, which is amazing, right? Yeah, she's gonna be healing based on damage, and she's gonna just give you a heal at the end of the turn, which is amazing as well, right? And Orlia is actually getting another buff, which is crazy. And one of the biggest one is the cost. This thing right here, that's amazing right here. So what it does is the growth acceleration. Before it was a 2 cost card, and it will heal 200%, and select one creation of this unit in hand and duplicate it into hand, right? Now the cost goes down to 1, which is actually beautiful right here. And here they just gave her a 20% heal on her annoying skill, which, I mean, most of the people just remove this thing from the deck, so I mean, this is cool, I guess, right? And then you have the this one right here, they buffed the heal amount right here on the unique Epiphany on annoying card, which to 200 instead of 150, and you got 100% damage plus 100% damage amount for each creation in hand. Now it would do a defense-based damage, so she's gonna be scaling a lot more with defense with this buff right here. And then they also added a heal 60% on here, right? So on the annoying Epiphany 2 skill right here, and then another annoying Epiphany 3 skill right here. Before you just do 450 fixed damage, retain decrease cost by 1. So if you retain the card, the cost of this card goes down by 1, but now you're still gonna get that, but they added the defense based damage heal 200%, right? So yeah, so instead of doing fixed damage, you're gonna be doing defense based damage, right? Which is pretty good. And they also gave it 200% heal. So this card is gonna, becoming kinda nice, I'm not gonna lie, right? We got the annoying Epiphany 4 right here. So fixed damage times 3 to random enemies, create 1 creation for each target hit. Everything is the same except the defense-based damage right here. Okay, instead of fixed damage, she's gonna be doing a defense-based damage right here. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, she's not a DPS character, right? So giving her this doesn't do much to her, but it's cool still, right? And then you got the retain right here for each creation created while this card is in hand, 100% damage amount to this card until used, right? So before it was only 100% damage, but now it's 120 defense-based damage, right? And then they also buffed this 120 right here instead of 100, right? So yeah, pretty cool. They're just buffing her annoying cards, right? Magna is getting a massive buff. I'm not gonna lie, right? So pretty much for Magna, they are increasing her crystallization count, right? So on the first one, you get the 4 crystallization instead of 2 crystallization on ice fragment and the ice wall card, right? So and they are also changing her force charge card as well, and then they are also going to change her storm of bitter cold card right here. So yeah, just massive buffs in general, right? So the first ones, instead of 2 crystallization, she's going to get 4 crystallization, which is amazing. Instead of 4 crystals, she's going to get 6 crystallization on here. Instead of 2 here, she's going to get 4, which is insane, right? And this thing, the cost went up by 1, which is interesting, but it makes sense, right? Now, before it just it's a 0 cost card and it will give you 2 crystallization, right? But now it's a 1 cost card. On highest fragment Epiphany 3, and then gives you 4 crystallization, and at the start of the turn, 1 counter attack, increase damage of the counter attack of this unit by 30%, right? So that's pretty big, so that kind of makes sense why they increase the cost on this. This one, they only increase the crystallization count right here. This one, the cost went down, which is nice. They are also increasing her shield amount right here, so 200 shield instead of 180. You got 270 shield before, but now you're gonna get 300 shield. Same thing right here, 300 shield right here instead of 270. And then the 2 counter attack right here, they actually I don't know if they removed it, I think, because they didn't write it here. So they increased the shield amount, but they removed the counter attack, I think, which is kind of unfortunate, right? But it is what it is. This one is actually a really good buff right here. Okay, this Ice Wall Epiphany 3, what he used to do is we just do counter attack, target all enemies, right? It will make counter attack cards to target all enemies. But now she's keeping all that plus a 200% shield, which is crazy, right? And then right here, 180 to 200 shield right here, right? So they buff the shield. Same thing right here, right? 200 shield, and instead of 2 counter attack, she getting 3 counter attack, and the target counter attack to all enemies for 3 turns, right? As you can see, right? So before it was only for 2 turns, right? But now it's for 3 turns, which is amazing. Here they buffing the shield amount, and they are also giving her 3 vulnerable to all enemies instead of 2 vulnerable on her frost charge card right here. You got another one right here. Before 180 shield, 2 vulnerable to all enemies, and plus 50% shield gain amount, but now it's 210, 3 vulnerable is plus 60% shield gain. So very good right here. Right here, so they are giving a more vulnerable right here, right? 210 shield, 4 vulnerable instead of 180, 3 vulnerable, right? Before, right? Here, 2 vulnerable, and now she's gonna get 4 crystallization, and she also gonna get 3 vulnerable on top of this, right? So they buffed the vulnerable amount right here, right? And they also added the crystallization on here, right? So yeah, she's gonna be getting a lot of crystallization and a massive big ass shield and stuff like that, right? So very good right here. On the Epiphany 5 of Frost Charge right here, before it was 2 vulnerable to all enemies and 2 counter attack, right? But now it's going to be 3 vulnerable and 3 counter attack, which is pretty good. Here, when shield is gained through an ability, 1 counter attack, but now she's keeping all that plus 2 crystallization right here, which is pretty good. Same thing right here, she's keeping all this right here, right? When shield is gained through an ability, 1 counter attack, but she's going to get crystallization on here as well, right? Maribel, she nothing crazy with Maribel. They just gave her like a 20% damage based shield, which is pretty good. So she's going to be shielding quite a lot. Same thing right here, right? They didn't change much about her skill right here. They just gave her the 20% defense base shield right here, and she's also gonna get 2 counter attack, right? Which makes sense, right? And then we got this one right here, more 220% damage base shield, right? Before she didn't have any of that, right? Here, right, same thing, right? The damage based shield right here on her Resonance Bliss unique Epiphany 4 skill right here, and then they are also buffing her Marble Shelter skill right here. So pretty much defense based damage, 100 defense based shield right here, but now it's gonna be 120 defense based damage. So they buff the damage, they are not buffing the shield amount right here, right? Just buffing the damage right here. So very small buffs on Marble. So yeah, they didn't change much with it, but here they did change a couple things right here. So before, the Wolf's Dome card right here, 2 counter attack at the start of the turn, 1 counter attack, right? Pretty good right here. Now it would still do that, but it also gives you the crystallization effect right here, right? And it says the 2 crystallization is only applied when using a card. It's not a part of any start of turn effect. So yeah, this doesn't activate as a start of a turn or anything. You're just gonna get it when you activate the card right here, okay? So that's pretty much what they're saying right here. So 2 counter attack at the start of the turn, 1 counter attack, right? But they are adding the crystallization effect on this without changing a lot anything here, right? Very good. Same thing, right? It doesn't activate at the start of the turn, but only when only activates when you use a card, right? Here, they are buffing the right here, right? Before she does so counter attack at the start of the turn, right? 2 counter attack, and at the start of the turn, 1 counter attack, fixes shield 50%, right? But now it's gonna be the 50% gonna be going up to 80%, so 30% buff right here. And you guys know the meme, right? Yuki is getting another buff, guys. Okay, so there, yeah, crazy. Right? Mostly they're just buffing her damage, to be honest. So this one right here, I increased damage amount of card by 20%, right? But now it's gonna be 40%, so which is pretty good. You got this one right here, where 40% instead of like 80% instead of 40%, which is really good on the prepare subdue card right here on the Epiphany one. Yeah, so they're pretty much buffing her prepare to subdue card, flash slash, and also the trickery strike right here, and they are also buffing her freezing blade right here, which is pretty good, right? So yeah. So the 40%, 80% instead of 40% right here. You got this one right here, prepare to subdue, draw 1 attack card of this unit, increase damage amount of attack card of this unit by 20%, but now it's gonna be 30%, which is really good. And here, right here, draw 2 attack cards of this unit, decrease damage amount of those cards by 10%. This is actually really good because nobody uses card just because that 20% damage decrease debuff you're gonna get if you use this card. But now they lowered that to 10%, right? So she only gonna be losing 10% damage on her, which is still a lot, but it's better than nothing, right? Yeah, it's better than 20%, right? Which is crazy, right? And here, yeah, the draw 1 attack card of this unit, increase damage amount of that card by 20%, but now it's gonna be 40%, which is really good. This one, they increased it to 2 attack cards, which is really good, right? Before it was only draw 1 attack card of this unit, but now it's gonna be draw 2 attack card of this unit. So yeah, she'll be able to draw a lot more cards as well. And here they just buff the damage right here, right? Just buffing damage right on her flash slash skill right here. And then here, right here, they are also buffing her damage right here, right? It's 350 instead of 320, and then you get 100% right here instead of 90%, right? So yeah, pretty good. And then more damage boost right here. They are doing, this is amazing right here, right? I don't know if this is like the base, but like look at this, right? So her trickery strike right here, before it used to do 300% damage, and if you have inspiration, it would decrease the cost by 1, right? But now the damage got lowered, but they added 1 hit when you have inspiration. So I don't know which one's better, right? I think this is a lot better for her to do a lot more damage, right? So I think it's better. So yeah, instead of doing 300% damage, she's gonna be doing 400% damage right here. So yeah, pretty cool right here. And then we have this one, more damage boost right here, more damage boost right here, and yeah, this one more damage boost as well, right? So instead of 90, it's 120. Instead of 40, it's 50 right here. Pretty good, right? So yeah, pretty simple buffs on Yuki, but still more unique buffs, right? And here for Haru, they did the same thing pretty much. So damage boost on her anchor shot right here, and then more damage boost right here, which is crazy, right? Yeah, so yeah, 150 instead of 120, 350 instead of 320, right? And then here they lowered the cost right here, which is amazing. So right here, anchor shot Epiphany 3, so cost 3, it will retain / pulverize, right? 350% damage, discard all cards of other combatant, then plus 150 damage amount for each card discard, right? But now it's gonna be 2 cost card, which is amazing. So more people will be willing to use this Epiphany now, right? Which is pretty good, right? And then we have this one right here, just more damage increase and then more damage increase as well, right? Yeah, Haru and Yuki, they be getting so many buffs, and Rin, probably one of my favorite buffs right here. So for Rin, they gave her some crazy buffs, I'm not gonna lie. So her Dark Mist Sacred Art Slash right here, before it was do 400 damage plus, and then 2 vulnerable, right? But now it's gonna be 6 vulnerable, which is crazy, man. And then we have this one right here, her Dark Mist Sacred Slash Echo Manifestation right here, which is her ultimate, right? Before it used to do 450 damage, 3 vulnerable, but now it's gonna be 500 damage, which is crazy, and then 9 vulnerable, guys. That is crazy. Yeah, she's gonna be doing some crazy damage right now. Okay, and here they buffed her damage from 50 to 100 on her drawing slash right here, and then they are buffing the different kind of epiphanies of drawing slash, right? So the first one is instead of 50, they increased it to 100. Instead of 150, 180 right here, which is pretty good. For 350, now it's going to be 450, which is amazing. And then you have 150 instead of 120, right? So very good. But they didn't change anything else. They just changed the damage amount right here, right? So very, very cool right here. And then here, all right, more attack buffs right here. All right, as you can see, instead of 50%, it's gonna be 100%. And then now this one right here on her Dark Mist Sacred Art destruction card right here. Unique Epiphany 5 cost 2 as start of the turn. If in Dark Mist stance, draw one card of this unit, right? But now it's gonna be one cost card, which is amazing. And then more damage boost right here, right? Like a 200 instead of 150, 300 instead of 225, right? 100 instead of 50, right? 150 instead of 100 right here, which is amazing. 300% right here, 200% right here. So yeah, just a bunch of like buffs right here. And now look at this, right? They added lead effect on her Dark Mist Inner Arts card right here, which is amazing. If I'm not mistaken, lead will make aware when you use this card, you actually won't be decreasing the enemy's like turn meter, if I'm not mistaken, right? So yeah, very good right here, right? So yeah, lead effect on this, right? And they are also adding lead effect on her Unique Epiphany 1 right here, which is really good. And they are also adding this one is interesting. What it does is, so Dark Mist Inner Art Unique Epiphany 2, before use it used to be a 0 cost card, and would do retain Dark Mist stance for 1 turn. And if you are inside the Dark Mist stance, you're gonna get a plus 40 damage amount to attack card of this unit for 1 turn, right? But now it's gonna be 1 cost card, and it will let you draw 2 cards of this unit, which is pretty good actually. But losing that 40% damage is kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie, right? But yeah, pretty good. So if you are in Dark Mist stance, you're gonna get draw 2 card of this unit. It's okay. I might like this one's okay. And then yeah, more lead effect right here, more lead effect right here, more lead effect right here on her Epiphany 4 and 5 and 3 of Dark Mist Inner Arts right here, right? And then here more damage boost, right? So 120 instead of 80% right here, and 150 instead of 100, right? So yeah, pretty good. But this vulnerable buff is insane, guys. This is crazy right here for Ruin. I'm not gonna lie, right? So beautiful, right? And I was actually planning to do a video of Ruin right here. So yeah, we're gonna taste her out once she season 3 rolls around, right? And now Charon is getting buffs as well, but mostly it's just damage boost, honestly, right? Look at this, right? So they're buffing her his Echo of Futility card right here up to Epiphany 5, and then they are also buffing Brand of Annihilation card up to Epiphany 5 as well, right? So pretty much just damage boost, right? So 400 instead of 300, 300 instead of 200, 600 instead of 500, right? 400 instead of 300, right? 600 instead of 450, which is actually pretty big right here, right? And then you got 400 instead of 300% damage right here. You got 150 instead of 30%, which is actually crazy, right? That's also a massive buff right here. And then another one, right? Instead of 50% damage, you're gonna get 150% damage. So yeah, in general, he's gonna be doing a lot more damage right here. Okay, this one's also pretty big, right? Before it was only 360, but now it's gonna be doing 480%, right? Which is crazy, right? So yeah, just yeah, in general, he's gonna be doing a lot more damage. I think for Kieran, what I want to see was if they make aware all of his futility card cost like 0 cost, right? I think if that was the case, Kieran would be so broken, guys. Okay, but right now, all of his futility cards they cost like 1, which is crazy, guys. Okay, so yeah. And he doesn't like activate them when he discard them, so it's like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't like using the current Kieran. I'll be honest with you guys, okay? Yeah, but yeah, this is a general like damage boost for him, right? Pretty good. Chizuru is getting another buff, which is crazy. I'm actually surprised about this because last time Chizuru got buffed, she was broken and she's still absolutely broken, but they are giving her even more buff, which is crazy. So pretty much not too crazy, right? So they are buffing her Shadow of the Moon card right here, which is her main damage source right here. So which is crazy, right? So right here, instead of 40% right here, right? So it would do bind 1 and retain 8% damage, 40% damage amount for each bind stacks, right? But now it's gonna be 80% damage, which is crazy, right? Same thing right here, 80% right here, 80% right here instead of 40. So yeah, she's gonna be doing a lot more damage in general, right? And then here, one of the best thing I've seen for Hugo, I'll be honest with you, is this is beautiful right here. So before his quick fix card right here, Epiphany 5, what does 120% damage, decrease commence the hunt up to 5 times, add 1 hit for each, right? This was kind of unfortunate, I'm not gonna lie, right? Decreasing his commence hunt stack by 5 is massive, right? But now they removed that, and what they did is 120% damage and add 1 hit for each commence hunt, which is beautiful, right? So yeah, this thing gonna be hitting a lot more harder, right? And he's not gonna be losing his commence hunt stack, right, as fast, right? And then here they did this, right? So on his Epiphany 4 of quick fix right here, 100% damage times 3 if in commence the hunt state, increase action count of all enemies by 1, right? But now it's gonna be if in command the hunt state, increase action count of all enemies by 2, which is, yeah, this one's pretty simple, but this one's beautiful right here, right? I like that one. Calipe is getting a very simple buff right here. Instead of this thing activating only on Ravage state, they actually just removed that and it would just activate, right? So before it was to do 300% shield and 1 tenacity damage to all enemies, 1 damage reduction for each enemy, right? In a Ravage state specifically, right? But now it's going to be 300% shield, 1 tenacity damage to all enemies, and 1 damage reduction for each enemy, right? So yeah, she's gonna make your team a lot more tanky, right? Beautiful right here. Luke is getting some buff right here. It just damage boosts, right? Before it was only 200% on his finisher round card right here, but now it's gonna be 300. And then before it was on his ego manifestation right here, which is his ultimate. It was 250, right? But now it's going to be 350 damage, right? So very simple. Owen is getting buffed. Mostly just damage boost right here. So as you guys, right? Instead of 240 damage, 280, 280, 150 instead of 130 right here, right? 240 before, but now it's going to be 280, right? 280 instead of 240 right here as well, right? And 280 instead of 240 as well. So yeah, he's just gonna be doing a lot more damage in general, right? And the Amir, she's just gonna be giving you more shield, pretty much, right? So pretty much they just buff her metallization right here. So when gaining shield via an ability, deal 8% defense-based damage to a random enemy, right? But now it's gonna be the same right here, but it will also give you and 8% shield, right, on top of this right here. So very simple. This one, Lucas, is very simple buffs as well, right? They just buffed his damage right here on his armor piercing round, explosive shot, dispersing shot, cold shot, and flame shot, right? So all of his different like bullet cards, they're gonna be doing a lot more damage now. Okay, pretty simple right here. Counter attack is getting a buff in general, right? So right now it's going to be doing 150% instead of 100%, and then it's going to be doing 300% damage instead of 200%, right? So it says if an attack is completely blocked by shield, 300% defense-based damage to attacker on effect activation, decrease counter attack by 1. So yeah, before it was only 200, but it's going to be 300 now, and yeah, pretty much very nice, right? And that's pretty much for the buffs and stuff like that, right? No nerfs this patch, which is beautiful. And yeah, I think I'm very happy about like Magna buff right here. I'm very happy about like a Reen buff, and rebuff is also pretty good right here, right? So yeah, a lot of amazing buffs, right? Marvel, okay, I mean, I don't use her, so that's fine, I guess. Yuki buff is always welcome, right? So yeah, but yeah, let me know what you think about these buffs, and let me know what kind of character you guys are excited about, right? Based on like all these buffs, right? So what character are you excited to try out after these buffs roll around on season 3, right? So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, and see you guys on the next video, and bye bye guys, see you.